Alright, so we're back for part 2 of day 3. We're just going to wrap up our run at this point. And so what we're going to want to do first is get all this frat gear off and put back on our normal stuff. We don't need to worry about having our monster level boosted up too high at this point. We do need to hit level 13 before we finish these quests, but we don't need it to be like super high. So the carnivore button we won't need at this point. Just equip whatever you prefer to have. So you could do pirate fledges if you need the stat boost, anything like that. Right. We are going to want to have our non-combats down still, and so we'll head to the bowling alley. Okay, let's go ahead and just you know what, that would be a waste at this point because we could have banished him the whole time. Do we still have Snoke Bomb available? Yeah, it looks like we should have. How many casts do we have left of that? 1. Alright, let's go ahead and just head over there and just see how it goes. We have plenty of adventures to work with still. We're definitely going to make our 3-day. That's not going to be an issue at all. You know, if we had a little bit more MP, there we go. Okay. We're disintegrating him. We'll use that book of matches. We'll head to the tavern. We'll buy 11 bowls of scorpions. And then let's just restore a little bit. And let's pull a flask. Oh, duh. I was on the wrong thing. We already had some in there. Right. Use that, and that's going to get our HP back up because we had ran out of our Mary Smithness. Right. Head back to the bowling alley. And now we don't have to worry about the drunk pygmies. And we can focus on the bowlers. We're going to still encounter another janitor, I'm sure, shortly here. Maybe we'll get lucky. There we go. Knew that was coming up. So normally I would have saved that disintegrate and tried to use it on some scarab beetles to get the mojo filter, but we don't need that. We've got plenty of time to do that after we free the king. So as you can see, those bowls of scorpions, the drunk pygmies are just free fights now. They're not even doing anything. They just grab the drink and leave. So that simplifies things a bit. And that was using the book of matches to open up the tavern. Alright, next stop is the hidden hospital. We want to keep our combat encounters as low as possible. If we had another banish, I would use it on the nurse here. But we don't. If we use batter up, then we're going to get those pygmy orderlies again. When you fight the surgeon, each time you fight the surgeon, you're going to get one of his things. A different piece of equipment each time, up to 5 different things. Equip it as you get it, And you'll see over here the guide is going to tell your chance of the Protector Spirit encounter, and it's going to go up with each piece of equipment from the surgeon that you equip. Alright, so we got the apron, we equipped that, and we're up to 20% chance. There's another one of those damn nurses. This is one of the places where olfaction is nice to have, if you have it, if you've invested that much time into the bounties to get that. Okay, there's only 2 more pieces that we can get. 1 more now. Okay, there we go. Wipe out the Protector Spirit, use the sphere, and get the other stone triangle. Alright, make sure you put your other stuff back on first. Do we really want to put that? Yeah, let's just put that on for now. And then go to the ziggurat, open the door, and fight the Protector Spectre, and that will get us the last piece of the Staff of Ed. Let's go ahead and create that. While we're over here, let us make the skeleton key as well. And we have 63 adventures to deal with, and we just have the pyramid left before the lair, so I think we'll be okay. For the top floor here, we want to get crumbling wooden wheels, as many as we can, and you'll get those in a non-combat, so you want your encounters to be as low as possible. Unfortunately for us, -20 is as low as we can go, so we'll just have to deal with it. And you're just going to adventure there for a few turns until, I believe it's 6, until you open up the middle chambers. So the more wheels we get here, the better. And I wouldn't worry about banishing anything in this zone. Once you get this down, doobie-doo, down, down, head to the middle chamber, and this is the spot where you want your item drops to be as high as you can get them. So let's just double check what we got. Okay, let's go ahead and comply with those suggestions. And that brings it up to a whopping 145. We're going to switch out to our Flaming Gravy Fairy. And let's just check one more time. Yep, we could do leash. Okay. Hit the middle chamber. Banish the Tomb Servant. And yeah, we're out of smoke bombs, so let's get another louder than bomb. Adjust our pulls here real quick. Okay, so we should have 4 slots here, and yeah, you can see 4 pulls left. May end up having to use one of those to get enough tomb ratchets, but we'll see what happens. So the other one here, the asp, there's what we're looking for. Banish that one. And if you get poisoned by it, make sure you use an antidote as well. Right, so we're looking at some delay here to open up the control room. So we're going to actually get a message in a moment here. And then we're going to need to continue in the middle chamber until we get the control room open. So here we go. If you look at that, that just brings the lower chambers, which you can't actually do anything in right now, so don't go there. So we need to adventure in the middle chamber for 5 more turns to unlock the control room. We also need 6 more ratchets or wheels. So what I'm going to do is set my goal as 6, and we'll feed it 10 adventures. We're going to get interrupted in a second here when it opens up the control room. Alright, so at this point we still need 4 more ratchets or wheels. So you have a couple choices. Could either continue here in the middle chamber and try to get 4 more ratchets, or you can go to the upper chamber and try to get 4 more wheels. That would require keeping your combat encounters as low as you can. For item drops, you want to be roughly around 400%. So let's actually just let's see, why are we not getting better negative combat? Oh, we don't have Brim's choker equipped, that's why. Let's go ahead and just give that a shot. Set our goal as +4. Go for 8 turns and let's see what happens. Normally I just go for the ratchets, but I want to see what happens doing this. And we got 2 wheels out of 6 adventures. We need 1 more wheel. So 8 adventures got us 3 wheels. I'm curious what our return for ratchets would have looked like. Alright, so we'll just set it for 4. There we go, we got another one then. Alright, so once you have enough of those, go back to the pyramid, enter the control room. Alright, so this is the way it goes. First round, do 3 wheels or ratchets. And that's number 3. And then head down to the lower chambers. You're going to get the ancient bronze token. Go back to the control room. This time you're going to use 4 wheels or ratchets. 2, 3, and that's 4. You want it to be lined up where the bomb is here at the top. We're in the middle. The bomb at the top. Head to the lower chambers. You should turn in that token for a bomb. Go back to the control room and this time use 3 ratchets or wheels so that we have the stairs up above and the opening down below us. Head to the lower chambers one last time, and that's going to blow it open, and that's going to open up the path to Ed. So now you're just going to need to kill Ed several times. And if you haven't read his flavor text of what's happening, make sure you read it. It's pretty funny, especially if you've done the Ed the Undying path. Alright, almost there. There we go. Head to the council, and we hit level 13 during that, so we have the way open to the Sorceress's Tower. So visit the registration desk and find out what we got. We got Sleaze, Moxie, and Initiative. You're always going to have Initiative for the first one. Second one's always going to be an off stat, one of the stats that's not your main stat. And the last one's always going to be an elemental, and it's basically random. So which gravy fairy do we have? Stinky and Flaming. So neither one of those are going to help us. Alright, so we'll use the modifier Maximizer. And first, let's check our Sleaze damage. Alright, so we have enough items to give us plus 44, plus 46. Okay, so we could probably pull a bag of lard, and that should get us up the rest of the way. Our goal is to be able to do 100 Sleaze damage to get number 2. So let's hit pullable / buyable. And remember, we have 4 pulls left. So we want to try to only use one for this. Yeah, we actually have, let's switch to creatable real quick. We have enough cashews to do a casserole dish. That's plus 27, so we'll use that. Switch back to the pullable buyable. And now we just need about 27. And we got a lot of options here. Flaming knob, that's a drink. We don't want to use any drinks. Okay, let's just use this cuppa impropriety. Impropriety. Yeah, there we go. Hit exec. Selected. And then make sure that you actually enter the contest before you start equipping other stuff. So go back and you'll see the guide's going to tell you over here too how you're doing, how much more you need of everything. But you'll also notice some cues here. You feel extremely optimistic about your chances in the sleaziest adventure contest. That means we will probably place number 2, maybe number 3 if we were just below 100 sleaze damage and we still got extremely optimistic. So enter it, and you can see we placed number 2. So there's only going to be one competitor for us to fight in that contest. The lower that you rank on that, the more competitors you're going to have to fight. Alright, so next, let's do Moxie, and let's switch back to On Hand. Equip everything we can. And you can see the guide over here will be advising on how much more Moxie we need. Alright, so let's pull up Mafia real quick, and let's unaffect our songs. Alright, we'll use Steve Dave's, we'll use the bronzer, we'll use the giant moth dust, that gum you like, black number 2, cross streams, and that should take us up to 269. Alright, let's see what's creatable first. Alright, we could do a serum of sarcasm. Do we have free crafting, though, is the question. I don't think we do. No rapid prototyping and no indigos. So we're not going to want to do that because we're just going to use an adventure to save an adventure. So we'll switch to pullable buyable. And what we're looking for is roughly 330 more Moxie. We've got a Connery's Elixir of Audacity. That's going to give us another 202. Let's just up the allowed cost here a little bit. Alright, that's still our best bet. So that's going to take us up to 471. Let's switch back to choose each of these and see where we get with that. 507 looks like. Okay, let's just go ahead and do one of those. Okay, head back to the sorceress. Extremely optimistic for the smoothest adventure. Let's go ahead and enter in that. Now we need fastest. And so we'll put in init, switch to on hand, equip everything we have. We're looking for 400% for our initiative. And so we need another 185. Let's see what is creatable. We can buy and use a cheap wind-up clock. And then let's switch to pullable. Probably a panty raider camouflage would be a good. Looks like we may need 2 different things actually. So without spending too much more. So let's do that. And what is cheap that is 50? let's just double check here. Yep, we used up all our pulls. Okay, we ranked number 2. So switch your equipment back to whatever you need it to be. And then make sure you restore your HP, and then we'll go through each battle. The fastest adventurer is going to be the Tasmanian Dervish. That thing can be a little bit challenging, but Wham should make short work of it as long as you're not too squishy. And then we have the smoothest, which should be Connery the Sean Man. It's actually Shawnery the Con Man. It was a joke. He can be a little bit tough because he can block your attacks. And then we got Leonard. The guy looks creepy. Once they're each wiped out, go to the desk and get your prize. It's going to be the World's Best Adventurer Sash. Go to the courtyard to attend your coronation and meet Frank. And now we're going to get the hedge maze. So with the hedge maze, you have 2 options for each path. You can either do what Frank says, which is the long route, or you can do the opposite, which is the fast route, and that requires elemental resistance. So if we do the opposite of what he says, we can get through there in about 3 turns. If we do what Frank says, it's going to take considerably more. So we want to buff up our elemental resistance first. And if you're running the guide, it will tell you how much you need. So we've equipped everything we got and used elemental saw sphere. Let's head into the maze and do the opposite. Do the opposite again. Go down the manhole, which he advises against, and then escape the maze. There we go. We're finally at the tower. Hit the tower door. We should have all the keys. So unlock each lock. Then do the doorknob. Hit tower level 1. Use the beehive. Alright, now we need to switch to our meat drop equipment. Just do what the maximizer suggests. Switch to your leprechaun or meat familiar and restore your HP. Alright, so the guide is going to advise you on how much meat drop you need to make it in 1 turn. We have 300%. We need 220% more to always complete in a single turn. So we're probably going to end up taking 2 turns to defeat the wall of meat. And you want to make sure you don't get beaten up by this thing too. It's can be pretty vicious. The key, is to just not get beaten up by it. Alright, so go back and do it again, and you can tell by how the meat looks when you return as to how you're doing. So we may end up having 2 more turns here rather than just 1 more. Let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. That's the last of the meat. Alright, so next up is the Wall of Bones. You want to make sure you have no sources of passive damage, and the guide is going to warn you about this. So we need to get rid of that hand and glove and put on something else. And then what you need to defeat it is either the electric boning knife, or you need to have Garbage Nova. So pretty sure we did not get the boning knife. Yeah, we did not. Once you have reached the Wall of Bones, the boning knife non-combat becomes much more likely. And if you don't remember, that is in the castle in the clouds in the sky on the ground floor. So we need to hit that, and What we're looking for is the foodie non-combat. And of course, since I said it becomes a lot more likely, we're not getting it right away. If you have any of the green smoke bombs from the war, you can use those for possible free runaways at this point. Once you get the home on the free range, you want to investigate the noisy drawer. That's going to get us the boning knife, and then we can head back to the tower, go to tower level 3, and use that on the wall of bones to wipe it out. Tower level 4 is the mirror. You can gaze into the mirror to get confidence, which is an intrinsic that you'll have until you leave the tower, or you can break the mirror and not spend an adventure. Makes the sorceress tougher. Not real much point in doing that because we're not even close to hitting the leaderboard, and we cheated by taking class act 2 and then dropping it, so we can't leaderboard anyway. So next is the shadow. And if you don't have funk slinging, this battle is going to be a little bit harder, but it's still fairly easy if you're using gauze garters. Usually 4 or 5 of them, and he's dead. But we're going to funk sling 2 at a time, twice. So that's 4 total, and that kills him. Restore your HP. And then you're ready for the sorceress. Double check that you made your Wand of Nagamar first, or else the whole fight will be a waste because you will die the 3rd round without the wand. Unless you're like some amazing, super powerful player, which I think only like 2 people in the whole history of the game have ever defeated the 3rd form of the sorceress without the wand. And they probably weren't level 13 when they did it. So don't forget that wand. And be careful here because Wham occasionally gets beaten up when I try to use it to fight the sorceress. Usually just a few lunging thrust smacks and she's dead. Or at least that form is defeated. Alright, so we're level 13. We're about to do the 3rd form. And because we're finishing this at level 13, we're getting an instant karma, which we can discard, and we'll have extra karma when we go to Valhalla. And sorceress is dead. Let's go ahead and free the king and complete our run. And there you go. That's it. So we still have an empty spleen, quite a bit left in our liver, and 12 left in our stomach. We can pretty easily get a couple hundred adventures to play with to prepare for our next life. And we did that in about 681 turns, which isn't tremendous. I mean, if I had more skills and more access to epic foods and stuff like that I didn't have to do pulls for, we could have probably reduced that by 100 turns at least. But 681 in 3 days is still pretty solid. So I hope that you guys all see that doing a 3-day run in Softcore without a ton of skills and without items in the month is definitely attainable for anybody if you follow the right path. So just do basically what I said through all these videos and you should be able to do it. I would recommend, if you're only doing it in 4 days at first, that's fine. Just keep hammering away at it, and even 5 days at first is okay, but eventually you should be getting down to 3 days. And just as a last little side note here, we skipped the Liver of Steel quest, you may recall. And I did cover this a little bit in day 1, but if you're still doing 4 and 5 days, you may want to pick up that Liver of Steel on day 1. It's going to give you extra adventures if you're doing more than 3 days. If you're doing 3 days or less, then it's not really worth it. So I would pick that up if you're still doing 4 days. But once you're getting to where you're very close to hitting the 3-day mark, not quite getting to 3 day, stop getting that Liver of Steel and you'll probably get into 3 days pretty easily. Alright, and then, as always, before you start your next life, make sure you get that facsimile dictionary for your first pull on day 1. And the guide will give you some other suggestions for things you can do, like the Felonia quest, the Nemesis to get some instant karma if you have enough adventures, which we probably would after eating. And then there's some other miscellaneous stuff like the C and things like that. And if you don't know how to do the C, make sure you check out my videos on how to do the C as a gladiator, as well as the one on how to do the C as a scholar in 40 to 50 turns or so. The gladiator one, as long as you have the gladiator outfit, you can easily do it in 20 minutes real time with about 45 adventures. Does cost a little bit of meat though, but I show you exactly how to do it in that video. So that's it. That's our 3-day run. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Otherwise, let me know what other runs you want me to do, and I'll do my best to get those up for you guys. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.